Silence of the Heart, Robert Adams. Chapter 6. It is quite a different situation than identification with the body. The body will continue to have experiences, yet you will not. You will be free from the whole ball of wax. Yet to other people, to others, it will appear as if you are doing whatever you are doing. It appears as if what you are doing is reality. Yet when you discover the truth about yourself and you awaken, you will no longer be connected to your body. At the same time, you will appear to be a body to others, and they will see the games you are playing, but you'll be free from that. Yet your body will continue to play the games. It is a paradox. Your body appears as the water in a mirage, as the snake in the rope. But yet, when you awaken, you are no longer the body, and there is no body, but the body appears to others as being real. This is why when a illuminated teacher, a jnana, dies or appears to be suffering, nothing is really happening to the jnana, but to the ajnana, all kind of things are happening. They see suffering, they identify with sorrow or death and with everything else. Therefore, I say to you, do not disturb yourself with these things. Inquire to whom are they happening, and be free. What would you do if you woke up in the morning and found that you have no body, that there is no body there? You looked under the cover, you are looking for it, but you cannot find it. And you also realize that the thoughts that are thinking these things are not you. You are somewhere as the witness to the thoughts that you are nobody and that there is no body. Yet you feel an essence in everything, in the furniture, in the bed, in the windows, in the whole universe. And when your wife or husband comes in, or your children, they see you as a body. Yet you know 100% that you are not a body, and you never were a body, that there is no body. There is an awakening. The paradox is that you are sure that there is no body, yet this body appears. And when you become adjusted to yourself, you see a body which is supposed to be you, but it's not there. You know that there's a body and there are thoughts, yet something is thinking and something appears to be a body, but you don't take it seriously. That is the great paradox. We call it Maya, or the grand illusion of things. Right now, you believe that you are a body. You are certain of this, but I can tell you truly, you are not. You never were, and you never will be. Yet you identify with what you call a body. You go through experiences in life. You are happy, you are sad, you cry, you laugh, you are sick, you are healthy, you are poor, you are rich. And you go through all the vicissitudes of life, making a career out of yourself, putting yourself in various positions, sticking up for your rights, fighting for your survival, going through all these things that do not really exist. This is the way you are now. This is the truth about right now. You appear to have two arms, two legs, and you move around and you do things and you feel things and you go through things, don't you? I can tell you for sure that you don't. You never have and you never will. When you realize this about yourself, you stop being hurtable. Nothing can hurt you ever again. These feelings can never hurt because you have no feelings. You just exist as pure consciousness, pure awareness. Try to follow me on this. This is our true nature right now. Pure awareness right now. There never was a body that you had to deal with, yet the impression is so strong with many of you that not for a moment does the thought leave you that you are not a body. The thought is always there, it is always with you. That I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the experiencer should be practiced. All spiritual teachings end with this understanding. Even the priests and the rabbis and the ministers and the yogis and the rest of these people, what they're trying to teach and tell is this ultimate truth that you are not a body. But they do not realize this themselves yet. But all spiritual teaching is for this purpose. On Tuesday, I attended my mother in law's funeral. So somebody asked me, why am I not crying? I therefore started to cry. I cried louder than anybody else. They had to go get me a towel. That is how much I cried, and it made everyone happy. I cried for about 10 minutes. Somehow, when people ask me to do something, I do it. Yet my feelings never change. What feelings are those? That all is well, and all has always ever been well. It is all for your ultimate good. Those words never come to mind, but there is something that knows all is always well. This is some mysterious power that is continually felt. The power of this, of course, is the self, consciousness. It is also beyond consciousness, beyond the self. What is called I is simply an image superimposed on this power. Therefore, I can tell, I can be the body and the power at the same time. So the body can cry, can laugh, I can go through all sorts of experiences, but nobody is affected. The experience is like a burned rope. They are of no value. You cannot do anything with a burnt rope. You can touch it, but it falls apart. So the feelings and the emotions and everything else that this body expresses is like that burnt rope. So they use the expression of a burnt rope, that a rope will burn and the ashes will stay in the shape of the rope, so it'll look like a rope until you touch it, and then it just falls apart. And you realize that it's not a rope at all, it's just the ashes of a rope. So the feelings and the emotions and everything else that this body expresses is like that burnt rope. It is of no value. There are no words to explain this, but I can assure you that everything is unfolding as it should. No matter what is going on in your life or what happens to be, or what appears to be happening, believe me, it is all for your ultimate good. No matter what is going on in your life or what appears to be going on in your life, believe me, it is for your ultimate good. What if we believe that every single day? Everything that ever happened to us, we believe without a shadow of a doubt that it was for our ultimate good, for our ultimate growth, for our ultimate understanding, to lead us to this enlightenment. There is nothing in the universe that can ever hurt you, no matter how things appear or how they look. First of all, you are not your body. There is nothing hurtable. You are not your mind. So there are no thoughts that can attract you or destroy you or repel you. You're beyond all that. You're above that. A new reality. That's one of the things about believing my thoughts. 50 years of fear and anxiety and depression. What a wasted time. believe in my thoughts. Everything was always going to happen. Something bad was going to happen. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened. Just the illusion of the world is happening. Just the illusion of thoughts are happening. There's only consciousness. There's only awareness. There's only awakening. As long as you believe that you are the body and the mind phenomenon, you're going to have problems. That is that. I do not care what kind of problems you think you have. It makes no difference how severe. As long as you believe that you are the body mind phenomena, you are going to have problems. You may feel justified in having these problems. You may feel it is not your fault. You may feel that it is your karma to have these problems. You may feel it is all kind of things. But as long as you believe or you feel the mind body, you will have problems, because this is the kind of world in which we live, the world that does not exist, but you believe it to exist. Seems real to most of us, and if we believe that we are the body mind, then we believe the world is real, and we believe we have to pray to a God for solutions, and we do all these things and we suffer. Suffering will only stop when God answers our prayers. But when you awaken to the truth of your own being, when you are born again, so to speak, in a new reality, and you believe that all is well. But you say to me, but Robert, sometimes you appear to have problems too. Your karma evolved as it does all the time, and your physical body does not feel good, or something else is going on. My question to you is this: who sees this? There has to be a seer and an object. You are seeing yourself. When you catch on to your awakening, the world does not change. You just see it differently. That's all. You acquire a feeling of immortality, a feeling of divine bliss, so to speak, when things no longer have the power to affect you. In other words, in the state of enlightenment, cause and effect does not exist in you. But those who are living in the world are going through their own karma, and they are beholding themselves everywhere they look. For the world, remember, is only a projection of your mind. Now, what kind of projection is it? It depends on your state, where you are coming from. We are all looking at the world and seeing something different. All we are seeing is ourselves, and there are no problems. None exist. None will ever exist. The only problem that exists is what? Who can tell me? What do I always say? What does a problem exist? It has to do with your nose, right? You're allowing your thoughts to go past your nose. That is the reason you have a problem. If you catch yourself quick before it gets past your nose, where is the problem? The problem is in your thoughts, only in your thoughts. When your mind slows down, when the thinking process slows down, where is this problem? Where does it exist? But if you follow that thought to go past your nose, then there's all kinds of problems out there which you can come up with. You believe this is wrong and this is not right and this is hurting me, and you become suspicious and angry and doubtful and apprehensive and jealous and fearful and so forth, because you are thinking. You may say, how can you exist without thinking? Quite well, thank you. The trees do not have to think. The grass does not have to think. The world doesn't have to think. There is a power that knows how to take care of everything and will always take care of your body if you stop thinking. But as long as you think I am the body, then you have to take care of your body and watch it and feed it an aspirin and a cold remedy and eat proper foods and all kinds of strange things you do to your body. But your body and your mind are not your friend. They come under a law of their own. Did your body ask you today, this morning, when it's time to get up? It got up. Did it ask your permission to wake up? You have nothing to do with the body or the mind. When you become depressed, does your mind ask you if it can become depressed? It does whatever it wants. When you become fearful, does the mind ask you permission to become fearful? It does what it wants. When your body catches a cold or gets sick, does it ask you to get sick? What It does what it wants. But what have you got to do with these things? A lady called me this morning from Santa Cruz and she asked me, how long do I have to come to these talks before I become self-realized? And I told her, before I answer, let me ask you, what do you mean by I? And what do you mean by coming to these talks? And she hung up. I wonder why she did that. But it is something that can but it's something that we can talk about, or I can talk about. I have nothing else to do. How long do I have to come to these talks? How long does I have to come? Does I need to come to these talks? What is this elusive I that is coming to these talks? What does it mean? How long does I have to come to these talks? The reason you would call it an I is because you misinterpret the I. You identify the I with the body. So you are saying, how long do I have to? You come to satsang. These talks are called satsang. Satsang. Sat means being with the self. Therefore, I and satsang are the same thing. What this means is satsang is your everyday experience. It is not a place that you go. It is how you live your life. I make the separation, but there is no separation. There is one whole, and you are that. But as long as you are separating I from the self, then you're always in question. I feel sick. I feel happy. I feel depressed. I feel out of sorts. Who is this I? Where did it come from? How does it originate? What is its source? Find out. Dive down deep. Find out where the I came from. A good way to do this is before you go to sleep, say to yourself, I'm going to find my I when I get up in the morning. Just before you wake up, before you start thinking the I presents itself as I am, as pure consciousness, catch it. That is the best time to catch it. As soon as you awaken in the morning, in a split second, before you wake up and start thinking about your day, before the thoughts come of the world, that is the best time to catch the I amness, the absolute reality. For a moment, this is exactly what you are, pure awareness. And then the thoughts come and covers it up. So remember this. If you ask yourself when you go to sleep and tell yourself, tomorrow morning when I open my eyes, I'm going to identify with the source, the I am. And you will, even for a split second, you will notice that you are pure consciousness before all the other thoughts start flowing in. As you keep on doing this every morning, the time between your awakening and the thoughts coming to you will be longer, and the space will expand until you're able to stay in this awareness. Try it. You have to investigate. You have to intelligently dive deep down within yourself and find the source of your I. Do not accept your feeling. Do not accept your thoughts. Do not watch yourself feeling miserable and do nothing about it. Or you can become the witness to it. That will help too, but it's better to ask, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling miserable? The realization that you said, why am I feeling miserable? I I am identifying with my body. That's why. That is a mistake. The I is the self. It is pure harmony, joy, and happiness. But when you identify the I with the body, it becomes a personal I, which does not even exist, but you are making it exist. You're identifying with it. Why do you want to identify with your personal I? The personal I never existed. Why have you befriended it? Why do you keep giving it power? Why do you make it grow? Take your power back, expose yourself to the real you, and forget all the nonsense about the mind, the body, and the thoughts and the world. God, everything that appears to be real. Compare yourself with no one. Be true to yourself. Never mind how much progress somebody else is making. Forget about saints and sages and all the others. You are the only one that ever existed, and there is no one but you. You are all the saints and the sages and the seers. You are everything. Everything is the self, and you are that. Why not awaken to this? Why do you want to play games with yourself for so long? By believing in reincarnation, you just come back again and again, hoping to be better in the next life. But there is no better life. As long as you are born of the flesh, you suffer. This is the way of the flesh. Do not try to improve your life. You are making a big mistake, for there is no question about it. If you are using positive thinking or using your mind, you may appear to improve your life, but remember, this world in which you live is a world of duality. For every up there is a down. For every forward there is a backwards. For every good there is a bad. Therefore, whatever improvements come into your life, it will only last for a little while and then it will subside. And then you will become miserable again. When then you will be happy again and then you'll be miserable again. You will start sticking up for your rights, fighting for your survival. Then, as you get what you want, you will be happy again. It's like a yo yo, up and down, up and down. And no matter how much I talk to you about this, you're going to keep doing this. So, why am I talking? I do not know. I have no choice. You know, I never asked to do this. Strange how things turn out. It's too late now. Everything is unfolding as it should, and happiness is our true nature. All I know is that all is well, and everything is unfolding as it should. All I know is that happiness is our true nature, that you are not what you appear to be, and things are not what they appear to be. Nothing can ever happen to you. Why do you worry so much? What are you afraid of? Your life? You have no life. What you call your life is nothing. It does not exist. It is no thing. You worry about your hair falling out, worried about needing a new pair of shoes, or getting too fat. What a waste of energy. It is like feeding a dead horse. Why not use your energy for constructive purposes? Now, this does not have to mean that you ignore your body. Your body will always take care of itself. As a matter of fact, the more you practice, you will realize your true identity. Your body will be able to take better care of itself, and you will more than you were able to do before. It knows what to do. It will do whatever it has come into this world to do. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. Stop thinking about yourself so much, about getting a new job, losing a job, about working or not working. No one is ever happy. Those people who do not work are miserable because they can't find a job. And when they find a job, they join the miserable ones who can't stand their jobs. Where is the peace? Peace is your real nature. It is within you. Look for it and you will find it. Seek and you shall find. Even in religion, they try to focus on God, the God of their religion, or in meditation, they focus on these items. These do not awaken you. It may improve your concentration, make you a little more one pointed, yet it will not awaken you. The only time you will awaken is when your mind is destroyed. There has to be no mind left. When the mind is destroyed, consciousness appears as itself. When I talk to you about losing your mind, I'm referring to emptying your mind, annihilating the mind, totally transmuting the mind, not to change it into something else. For it truth, for in truth you are already that which you are seeking for. You have always been that. But go on crying over spilled milk. When you look at your life and you see things that upset you, you see things that make you angry, become excited. What a waste of energy. What a waste of time. There is nothing in this world that is very important. As long as you believe it is important, you will never awaken. You can't, for you are caught up in Maya or illusion. You are playing the game. You are feeling things, reacting to things. You are arguing about things. You are debating things. You are still not sure. As long as you keep acting this way, you cannot awaken. Just think of the things that you thought about today, just for today. Since you woke up this morning, the things that went through your mind, the actions you took, the emotions you had, the worries you had, the feelings of sadness and joy and all kind of things. All of this is a waste of precious energy. This is what keeps you back. This is what makes you a human being. This is what makes you worldly. It is up to you to understand what I am saying and to begin to get a program of non-action in your mind and not reacting. When something takes place in your mind or in your world, you observe the observer. You become the witness. You do not react. You try to keep your mind centered in the now, in the moment. You do not think about 10 minutes ago or about yesterday or about last week or last month or last year or even 5 years ago. You do not consider what someone did to you 10 years ago or how you were wronged. Those are the things that hold you back. Do not consider where you are going to go next week or what you have to do to become enlightened next month or the teacher you have to go see next year or the book you have to read next week. You do not think about these things. All of these are a part of Maya or illusion. They are a part of the grand illusion. They put you back into materiality. The student asks, how can I do all the practical things I need to do in this state of I am not the body? Robert answers, if you really knew you were not the body, that question would never arise. The body will always take care of itself. Who grows oranges on the orange tree? Who makes the grass grow? The same power will take care of your body. You do not have to worry about it. Everything will be okay. Your body will not walk into the street in front of a truck unless you are daydreaming. You will be awake. Being awake is not being in a stupor. Because you believe yourself to be a body, you believe you are the doer. You believe you are in charge of everything. You believe you are making meals and walking and shopping, but you have nothing to do with any of that. Being awake is like being aware of all this and let it happen spontaneously, which has nothing to do with you. Grass grows spontaneously, but we can imagine we are making it grow with our willpower. The same is with activities of your body. Actually, you will function better when you not think about them. Therefore, be yourself and watch what transpires. Student, why do I have to go through such trials and tribulations in the world? What is that part of it about? If we are consciousness, then why do we have to bother with the material world? Robert answers, you don't. Ask yourself, who has to bother? There is no one to bother. It's like a dream. You are dreaming a mortal dream. So pinch yourself, wake up, and be free. There is no one who has to do this. You see, we're caught up in this mesmerism. We are hypnotized into believing that we have to go through this experience. So it is natural to ask why. But the truth is that no one is going through this experience. It just happens like that. Just like the water in a mirage, the snake in the rope, it appears that way, but once you know the truth, you are free. There will be no one going through anything. Only when you hold up the I am the body idea do you appear to go through these experiences. But as soon as you give up the body idea by realizing I is the body, not you, but I, you are free. Saying that the I is, well, as long as we believe that the I is the body, we are bound. But when we understand that the I, identify the I with the supreme source or supreme energy or bliss energy or, whatever consciousness or awakeness is, if you believe that is your I, that is what is the power behind all of this, you become free. You never were the body. There is no body. But I do admit that some people, the mesmerism is so strong, it is most difficult to believe that you are not the body because you see it, you observe it, it feels and it acts. This is a reason that you have to do self-inquiry. Self-realization is when the mind is pulled into the spiritual heart. The student asks, what is the difference between no mind and enlightenment? Robert answers, the no mind state is where you come from practicing to the place in silence, where there are no thoughts to bother you any longer. You get there through self-inquiry. That is the fastest way, but that is not self-realization. Self-realization is when the mind is pulled into the spiritual heart. Liberation, moksha, self-realization is when the mind that is left over in the silence is pulled completely into the spiritual heart. At that time, the whole mind, the I, dissolves completely and you are free. So the no mind state is a very high state. It is a state of bliss, but there is still somebody left to experience that bliss. When the bliss is also pulled into the heart, there is no one left to experience anything. Therefore, you no longer say, I am in the no mind state. At that time, there is nothing to say. Can you understand this? The student says, it seems clear to me. Robert answers, as clear as mud. Again, the important part to remember is that you should keep asking yourself questions. Do not make statements. Ask yourself. The mind hates that. The ego thinks that it is God. The student asks, Robert, it seems that it comes down to the mind or to the ego trying to disidentify with itself and trying to identify with a mystery. Is that enough to produce the shift? Robert answers, that is enough to produce the shift. When the mind begins to wonder about itself, it becomes weak. So the more you ask the question, the weaker the mind becomes. If you make statements, you keep saying to yourself, I am God, I am consciousness, I am bliss, I am ultimate reality. The mind likes that because it wants to become God. It wants to be God. So then the ego thinks that it is God. And you walk around with a chip on your shoulder. But when you go the other way and you ask, who am I? Where did the mind come from? The mind becomes weak. It does not like that. As you said, it begins to see the mystery and becomes weaker and weaker. it devours itself, so to speak. But of course, the ultimate truth is there is no mind. So do not concentrate on the mind doing anything, but only ask, to whom does this mind come? To whom does this mind arise? Student, Robert, can all of this come about if you just surrender? Robert answers, oh yes, definitely. If this appears to be complicated, all you have to do is give it all up. Say, take it, God, it is all yours, and let go completely. There's no room for a question. You say, take this, God, take the whole burden. I no longer care, but it is difficult because it means you have to give everything to God and not worry about a thing. Do not concern yourself with anything in this world to realize that God is taking care of it. That is true surrender. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say much after that long reading. I'll just say that, I'm 50 years old. I spent 50 years worrying about the future, worrying about my life, thinking I was making decisions. What a wasted time. Like, I look back, when you get to be my age and you look back at your life, everything happened spontaneously. I thought I was making all these choices and doing all these things. The body showed up and did what it was supposed to do. And one thing led to another. I mean, I just kept walking through open doors. I thought I was making choices. I thought I was doing these things. It seems to be that life was arising and being lived. But you look back and everything happened exactly the way it was supposed to, when it was supposed to happen, to get me here, to this moment. And it seemed to have been choiceless. I feel like there are times that I felt like I had options, but I really didn't. The choice was made before it even arose, because of causes and conditions. Do I go this way or I go this way? Well, if I chose to go this way, there was all these mechanisms that had to take place for me to choose left instead of right. And all of those mechanisms goes back for an infinite amount of time. If we want to say that reincarnation is real, then you would have to say that if I was driving and I got to a T in a road and I didn't know which way to go, say my GPS wasn't working on my phone, and I thought, do I go right or I go left? I think I'm going to go left. And I start turning. I think I made that decision, but in reality, causes and conditions that go back not only through my whole childhood, my birth, before my birth, my previous life, multiple millions of lives throughout all the galaxies and all the worlds in the infinite universe, all the way back to the Big Bang. And then before the Big Bang, the destruction, the creation and destruction of universes throughout infinite time created the split decision to turn left instead of right. So, did I really make that decision? Did Kylie really make that decision? It's doubtful. It's very doubtful. And when you start realizing that there's no Kylie to make that decision, there is only an illusion of an ego structure. And the ego, the chatter in the brain says, go ahead and turn left. Maybe if you turn left, it'll take you back to the highway. That thought is appearing out of consciousness. I had little or nothing to do with that thought. That thought appeared out of oceanic awareness. That thought appeared out of pure consciousness. And it said, in a split second, this turn will take you towards the highway. And I heard it in my head. And yet I had no control over that thought. I didn't think that thought. That thought arose, and like every other thought that arises. All right. Well, once again, shooting these videos. Why am I shooting these videos? I know that I'm speaking to you and telling you that there is no you. There never was a me. We've never been apart. We've always been together. There's no way that I can ever leave you. There's no way that you can ever leave me. There is only oneness. We are the same. We are the same substance, pure awareness, pure consciousness, the supreme source, all dressed up as something different. It's like a movie where the actor plays different parts. And in one scene, they film him as the king, but they say he has a twin brother. So they say cut, and then he changes his costume and he changes into a peasant. And then he comes in and he plays his part where he's kneeling before the king begging for his life. And then they splice it together. And the actor is playing the king, and the same actor is playing the peasant that's begging for his life. And it was always the same actor, just filmed at different times and split and spliced together. But when we watch it, we believe that it's two actors. Maybe these actors are twin brothers, and they're both actors. And one actor is playing the king, another actor is playing the peasant. And then when we look in the credits or we do some research, we find out that it was actually one actor playing multiple parts in this movie. And then we say, aha, perhaps that is exactly what's going on here. That there is one substance, one supreme energy, call it whatever you will, playing all these multiplicity of parts.